Hello everybody, this is Paul with Fruitful Trees, and it looks like I'm in a forest of fruitful trees today, and that's right, I am. I'm in my neighbor's yard, and today we're going to be looking at my neighbor's yard and two properties that I have across the street. And today it's about avocados, all about avocados. Well, not everything about avocados, but there's so much about avocados, but we're going to cover a lot of good information about avocados, especially for those of you living in South Florida. Now, avocados are traditionally known to grow really well in Mexico and California. I've had some of the best avocados I've ever had in my life in California. One of them is called a Reed avocado, R-E-E-D. Absolutely, to this day, the best avocado I've ever tasted. Unfortunately, it doesn't grow well here in South Florida. We have a lot of information now to know what avocados do grow well here in South Florida and also in California and also in Mexico if you live in those places. However, Florida probably has more of a variety of avocados than any of the places. And some of them are okay, but some of them are amazing. And as I got my property, I wanted to know which avocados were best to plant. And I think I got my answer. So here's what we're going to discuss today on the show. I planted, when I first got my property, I wanted to plant avocados because there's of all the food, even of mangoes, of everything, avocados is something I eat on a regular basis, especially being a raw vegan. I only eat fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds. I wanted to get something that I was going to eat on a regular basis growing on my trees. And mangoes have their season, and other fruits have their season. But the avocado season in Florida lasts a very long time. So not only did I not want just the best tasting avocado, I also wanted avocados throughout most of the season. So I had to research and find out which avocados lasted which season. Now, typically I wouldn't consider buying a fruit that I can typically normally get in the store. Why would I grow something that I can get in the store? I want to grow exotic fruits that I can't normally find in the store. However, avocados, not only are they becoming more and more expensive in the store, there's only a short season for good avocados. Sometimes in the store they might have really lousy ones. Sometimes they ship them here all the way from Mexico. Sometimes from California. Sometimes they're wonderful, but sometimes they taste absolutely terrible if you buy them from the store. And I don't want to sit down to a meal with a nice avocado and then find out it's not a good one. So I want the best of the best for as long as possible, for as cheap as possible. And it's such an easy tree to grow, but I just wanted to do the research and find out. So enough talking. Let me show you what I got here today. I'm on my friend's wonderful property here, my neighbor, and he has wonderful amount of trees. And this, in my opinion, is the crown of his yard. This is the best tree that he has. So he has a lot of great trees. Right behind me, we're standing here at a wonderful mamey tree. He has a bunch of mangoes. This is a coconut cream mango, wonderful. But we're looking at avocados, and they're just growing all over the place here. This one. Well, let me start off by, let me just show you this. I'm so excited about this. Look at this avocado. Now, if you come to Florida, you'll go to the store and you'll find a bunch of avocados this big. They look a lot bigger than the typical California Hass avocados. But normally, if you buy them in the store, they're very watery. They don't taste good at all. This avocado, however, is very creamy. It has a delicious flavor. It's called the Maria Black avocado. Maria Black. And I first heard of this avocado from one of the people I buy most of my trees from, or a lot of my trees from. His name is Leap. I'm going to put his information below. He has this for sale. Out of every tree that he suggests people to get, or so on, this is probably the most often one he recommends, because he has one of these trees and he always says, you got to get a Maria Black avocado. You got to get a Maria Black avocado. Well, Ram went to Leaf when he first got this property. He got a Maria Black avocado, and it's every year since it's grown up. It's been loaded. It's loaded right now. There's a bunch on there. It's a delicious tasting tree, and it's very productive. That's what's important. Now, the season of that avocado is right now. And also, how do you know when an avocado is ripe? I asked my neighbor, because there's several of these trees growing, because it's very difficult to tell when it's ripe if you don't have the experience. He says he usually waits for the first one to fall, and then he knows it's a typical time. For me, if there's a lot on a tree, when I think they might be ready, or I have an idea of the season through learning and doing some research, I might eventually pick one and let it ripen and see how it ripens. The majority of avocados are going to ripen off the tree best. So that is, I just want to take you a look at, so you can see some of these. That's, and this is just some of the many avocados you can get in Florida. That's a Maria Black. Now, this is very interesting. This mango here is called a choquette. And this tree here, he planted around the same time as that one. Right now it's loaded, by the way. It's also another delicious one. And it's a little later season, I think a month behind the other one possibly. But the thing is, he took a graft of this tree. He had 2 wild avocado trees growing in the front of his house. He took a graft of this and he put it there. And as good as this one is, that one's even better. Not taste-wise, but production-wise. So production is very easy to graft avocados. So that's really great. Now, and avocado trees, as big as these trees are and can be, they don't have to be big. I've heard stories of trees half this size with hundreds of avocados on them. So that's another good thing. You don't have to keep them too big. Now here in the corner, there's another avocado tree with some avocados on them. And this one is called Monroe avocado. Another great avocado you can get here in South Florida. Now, one of the downsides of avocado versus mangoes is they don't freeze as well or at all, pretty much. I haven't had any good experience with freezing them like mangoes do or bananas might do and so on. So you want to plant strategically. And remember, if you have your own personal house here and you're not selling the avocados commercially, you don't need the trees to get super big. So you can plant more varieties for more seasons. Now, one of the things he did here, which even though these are excellent avocados, he has, to my knowledge, I think on the property, and I could be wrong, he has 4 avocado trees. He has this Maria Black, which is excellent, and the season is now. He has Choquette, which is the season is coming. It's on there now, so it's about a month after this one. And then he has the Monroe, and there's an avocado on there now, so I don't know the exact season, but I think these are all the same. And then he has a graph over there. Now he also has an Ooh La La. He has another one called Ooh La La, which, oh no, he does have one in the front. I'll take it. It's called Ooh La La, also known as a Super Haas. And originally he had a Mexicola avocado that he didn't like the way it tasted. So he didn't cut it out. He cut it down and he top worked it with the Ooh La La, which is, he got from my tree, which is a Super Haas. And that is a very interesting one because in California, they have the Haas avocado. Here in Florida, you can grow Haas avocados, but they're not as productive as in California. So they have something called a Super Haas here, which tastes just like that avocado, but it's more productive here. So he top worked that Mexicola avocado tree with the Haas avocado tree, and he has that growing here. Still, as wonderful as this yard is and things are going here, one of the mistakes he might have made is there's a much longer season to avocados than just right now. This is the prime part of the season. He does have another area with a wild avocado that's unknown, and it does fruit at a different time than these fruit. But the thing is, it only fruits every other year. So that's something he might top work. The good thing is he has a lot of trees and a lot of opportunity to top work these, to expand the season more. But when he originally planted these, he planted the ones at the same time. The best, some of the best ones at the same time. There's over 40 different varieties of avocados you can grow here in South Florida. And so I'm really excited about what he's got growing on here. And he's the reason why I planted these varieties over in my yard, which we'll take a look at now. Okay, everybody, here we are in my yard, and we have the first avocado tree that I planted was a Brogdon. Now, I planted several trees, wanted to get a good variety and covering the season really well. This one's a Brogdon, and this is one of the trees that a hurricane actually almost destroyed, and it got down to where it was like only 1 foot stump, but it's grown back nicely here, and it's loaded with avocados right now. The season's a little bit later than the Maria Black one, and you can see here there's a bunch of, it's much smaller and darker than the Maria Black or the Choquette or the other ones that my neighbor had. And I tasted one of these recently for the first time. I got the tree based on the season, but I recently tasted one of these. Absolutely a unique taste, a very creamy, not watery at all. Love this tree, love this avocado, and I'm really happy with the productivity of it. So that's Brogdon. That was one of the first trees that I have here. And I have a good amount of avocado trees. So this one is one I planted more recently, and this one, Leaf also told me that this is one of his favorite varieties. This is a Catalina. So it has a different season. There's basically 3 seasons here in Florida for avocado. There's early, mid, and late. And basically the early season, you're catching the beginning of fall, going to maybe December or so. Then you have the mid-season, which might cover from January to maybe March or so. But then you got from April to maybe May, and some might even go into June. So basically, most of the year you have avocados, except maybe August or September. There's even some in September. So most of the year you can get avocados here. Maybe for a month or two you can't here in South Florida. This one's a Catalina. So that one's growing nicely here. And I don't know how long it'll take before avocados get on there, but I have them on a well. Avocados, they do not like to sit in water when it rains and so on, but they certainly like water. So that one's my Catalina. And then I showed you my Brogdon here. And this is inspired. I'm going to go pick up another one of these trees. This one here is the Maria Black. So I just gotten one, and I'm going to go to Leaf and get some more, because these are dwarf avocados, according to what Leaf had told me. So I'm going to try to grow some in pots as well. So I'm going to go pick up 1 or 2 from him to grow them in pots, just to experiment to see how they grow. But here's one, that's my most recent tree that I got in the ground here. So I had a lemon tree in this area, lemons or avocados. I didn't have a lot of room and a lot of space. So I put this avocado here. It's going to be quite a while before I get some on there, but I'm glad I have that now here in this yard. After tasting it, I had to get it. I mean, I should have won after Leaf's recommendation for all those years, but I finally got it. So, so that is Maria Black. Now, I have another avocado here that I got because of my neighbor. He told me about it, and then I researched it, and this was the Monroe. So this is a Monroe avocado. That's another new one. It's quite on the smaller side right there. And I did strategically plant and spent a lot of time going over my yard and stuff. And I made a good amount of mistakes over the years. This is why a lot of my trees have been planted the same time as my neighbor. But you see, it's much more scarce here than over there, because I moved, I took out, I changed a lot of trees, just strategically trying to get the best for the long run. On this side, you see some trees that have been in the ground longer, but I'm just moving the trees, and based on the situation and where things are growing and so on. So here now is another avocado I recently got. This one is a Simmons avocado, and this one is probably the most popular Florida avocado out there. Very good production, tastes great. That's a Simmons avocado. And of all the avocados, I didn't really like Florida avocados just because they were so watery and so on. I hadn't tasted a lot of these varieties up to that point. But then finally I did. I tasted the Super Haas, also known as the Ooh La La. And I ended up getting not just 1, but 2 trees. But here's one of them. Last year it was loaded with avocados. They didn't ripen as evenly as I would have liked, but this is called an Ooh La La avocado tree, also known as Super Haas, and it's grown pretty well. So I'm looking forward to get them. And again, the season is different to most of these avocados that I have, so I should have avocados for pretty much covering the whole span of the avocado season here in South Florida. So next we're going to go to my front yard. Now, I don't prefer to plant avocados in my front yard, but when you only have limited space, that's what you have to do sometimes. And the reason why I don't prefer it is because I want to put things in my yard, my front yard, that people don't really know what they are, as opposed to mangoes and avocados, things that people might come by and decide to take, and so on. So this one is a Chuquet avocado tree, and we saw that my neighbor had one of these trees. It's really nice. Now I had one of these in the back. It didn't make it because I might have moved it too much, but I ended up getting another one and putting it here. So we'll see how that one does. And as we've seen from my neighbor, you know, some of them that are growing naturally versus some of them that are grafted, sometimes the grafted one does better. I mean, they're all grafted originally, but if you put it in the ground versus top working it, sometimes the top working ones do even better. So now here is probably the biggest growing avocado tree I have. And this is interesting because when I first got this property, I got a whole bunch of horse manure and put it all over the yard, and they dumped it in the front and they dumped it on top of this tree, and the tree was almost destroyed. But you can see behind me now that it wasn't actually destroyed. It's still going strong. And this one is an Oro Negro, and we have some avocados on there right now, and they're of the smaller size. Let's see if we can see one here. Okay, and now here's the thing. It's so far it's not been productive. Of this whole tree, I might have only 7 or 8 avocados, where this tree should have maybe 100 on there. So I'm experimenting with it and give it a little bit more time, do some things and see if I can get better production. But at the same time, I got from one of Leaf's trees some grafts, and I'm trying to graft on or top work some other varieties of avocado. And this one I'm trying to top work a Maria Black avocado and see how that goes. So in my experimenting with top working avocados, there's one tree in the back, that Ooh La La, that I grafted a piece of a Monroe on from my neighbor's tree, and it was successful. So I was excited about that. So here's another tree that was recommended to me that I got. This one is a day avocado. So it's much smaller. It's supposed to taste wonderful. I actually haven't tasted it, but a good friend of mine recommended it, and the season was different than these other avocados. So I decided to get that here. And then I have another one which I just moved to the front here. And this one is very interesting. There's a fellow down in Miami that has a place called Laura Farms, and his name's Julian. For a long time that he was trying to get from his neighbor to top work onto his trees. And finally, after many years, the guy finally let him do it. And there's a popular avocado here in South Florida that's an earliest season avocado, and it's called a Donnie, but I hear it doesn't taste good, but the advantage is it's early season. Well, this one's called a Ronnie avocado, because that was his neighbor's name, I guess. And so I got the Ronnie avocado. It's a different season than all the other ones, but it's supposed to taste wonderful. So we'll see how that is. That's a new one I have in the ground here. So that's a Ronnie avocado. Now I have 3 more avocado trees, or 4 more I'm gonna show you at my other location. Yes, of all these avocados, I still have more mangoes than avocados, but I'm gonna go show you that other one right now. Okay, everybody, I'm here at another location here that I have, and this one's in the ground, and Alex at Tropical Acres told me this was a really nice avocado that is good, a good off-season avocado. This, or not off-season, but a different season than the other ones, and this one's called the Dupree avocado. So we'll see how that does. I don't particularly love that spot for it, but we'll see how it goes there. And in this other property I got, one thing I did was I try not to have 2 of one tree on many things, but I heard so many good things about the Ooh La La Super Haas that I put one right here. So I have a baby Super Haas, and you see it's loaded right now with little avocados as well. So that's the Ooh La La. And I had a property somewhere else that had 2 big avocado trees on it, and I forgot the names of which ones they were, the variety, but the good thing was I was able to dig them up and move them over to this property. So I'm excited about that because they both took. One of them I didn't think it was going to take, but it finally did take, and I have both of them up so right now, so I'll show you those. And then I also have one more avocado tree right here to show you. Okay, this one, I'd like to move over to the other property and get it on a well. It's not on a well now, but Alex tells me it's a really good one. This is called the Tyler avocado tree. Tyler avocado tree. So we'll see how that does. I'm hearing great things about it for an off-season avocado. And this is one here that I moved, and I didn't think it was going to grow. It didn't look like it was going to grow. It looked like it was dying, but it actually started sprouting here. So I'm really excited about that. I think it's gonna do really well. So I'm excited about that. And then finally, I got this one here. You can see I cut it. It was much bigger. It's real early. I don't want to wake anyone up, so I'll move from over there. But it's much bigger. It was much bigger. I cut it. I moved it, and it's just doing wonderful. So those are my avocados here. And if you guys have any experience or what's your favorite avocado and so on, let me know. Put them in the comments below. And what's some secrets you've learned to grow good avocados and so on. Until then, everybody have a great day, and I pray that you enjoyed this video. Keep growing.